Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see you out there. So, yeah, I'm going to be a retired CrossFit athlete now. So, yeah, you can come under my wing. Yeah, so I think this is episode number 50.
Nice.
Oh, you're on the milestone episode.
Nice. I was on number 20 as well for the C word. So, mate, hitting milestones everywhere. It's great.
It's all happening, man. It's
cool.
So for those who are tuning in, this is Monty. Can I say your real name?
Go for it, yeah.
So Kym Monteath. It took me months to work out his real name. So Monty and I met when we did the Enduro for the first time. So I've seen you on socials, out and about. But we met when we did the 24-hour race in Sydney and got to race side by side.
Yep.
And when we met there, like, for me, you were just such a cool dude and just such a legend of a bloke. So ever since then, I've wanted to jump on the podcast with you and just find out more about you and what you do. Because, like, when I look at all the stuff going on in social media around the scene and see the people out there, I'm like, man, this guy's doing really cool stuff. And I just wanted to find out more about that.
Sweet.
But we should let people know beforehand, we're recording this at Altitude High Performance. And so we're in the Altitude room at the moment. So what does that mean?
So, yeah, I thought it'd be a cool idea to sit in here, and you'll probably notice a little bit, but what that means is we're in a oxygen-reduced environment. Okay, that's the most simple way to put it, is whether you're at natural altitude or you're at the way we do it, which is a system on the roof, which I'll go into, it means you're training at a hypoxic environment, which is reduced oxygen. Okay, so we have a system on the roof that pumps nitrogen in to this room. So it's not pressurized. You won't feel any pressure in here. The only thing you'll feel is just that lack of oxygen. If you start to talk a long sentence or you start to do the exercise, which you'll figure out a little bit later, is you'll feel like you're out of breath. You'll feel like you're fatigued. Your intensity will just naturally be zapped, just purely because of that lack of oxygen into your lungs.
So the benefit of that, because you deal with a lot of athletes as well as you run the classes out of here for everyday people. So what's the benefit out of having a reduced oxygen room?
So the biggest thing for altitude is that we cater for everyone. So if you want to train like athletes train, then come in and we'll put you on a periodization program. So you can get that professionalism to your program. We have everyday people that just want to come in. They may not want to use the altitude room, and that's totally fine. But then we get the semi-professional athletes, we get professional athletes, we got a WBC female boxer who comes in when she's in.
I've seen her training in here.
And she's incredible to watch, by the way.
Yeah, she really is.
Unbelievable. So I mean, what that means is the benefits of altitude training is there's a lot around endurance. So training your lungs to that stressed environment can then, when you train outside of the altitude room, because those lungs have adapted to the lack of oxygen and under fatigue and stress, when you go and train outside of the altitude room at normal sea level, they feel a lot easier, a lot more open. So when you're training at higher intensity, you've already put them under that strain and that duress. Like when I suppose an example is when you relate it to weightlifting. You need to rip the muscles and hurt the muscles to make them grow, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like that with the lungs. You're putting it under stress and fatigue and hardship consistently. So when you come outside the room, all of a sudden you're feeling, 3-4 times clearer and better when you're, especially with running and cycling and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So
it's like a forcing adaptation.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a lot of research behind the way that the oxygen is carried, so carrying capabilities through the body and the adaptations that the body has through that lack of oxygen. In turn, it can produce more oxygen going into the exercising muscles.
Okay.
So there's a lot of science behind it without going too deep into technical things, but it's pretty fascinating, the research on it, and continues to be research on it, and it's ongoing. So
it's pretty epic, and this was the first major one in WA, and I know it attracted a lot of high performance people. I haven't trained in it yet. But it'll be cool to see like the impact on what it has versus your normal training. But you've done a lot of endurance stuff as well, which I want to delve into. But just to answer like really simply, how much has, like specifically running, trail running, obstacle course racing, which we'll go into, how much has been able to train in an environment like this? How much do you think that impacts your training or your performance?
It's kind of really crazy timing. When I started at altitude, I was still playing football and I hadn't really ventured into the whole running scene. I done a lot of running with football, but I hadn't, done a lot of these trail races and endurance races and true grit and things like this. So it's helped me immensely. I remember going out, and for me, a 10K run was a big run. And I remember dreading a 10K run. Even up until a couple of years ago, a 10K run for me would be a once every, probably month, once every couple of months outside footy season.
Yep.
And I'd find it, pretty difficult. It's still 10Ks. It's pretty hard. But then I started training in the altitude room. I started running on the skill mill, and obviously the intensity wasn't as high, so I taught myself to slow it down.
Yep.
So naturally in here, your intensity will just drop. You cannot perform at a high intensity at low oxygen. It's just it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? So because you're breathing, you're so gassed that it's hard to sustain that high intensity. So I started backing my running off and covering more distance, and by doing that in here, when I ran outside, I felt unbelievable. I started clicking over 10Ks and feeling a lot stronger. And of course, there's some correlation there between how much I was running. So I was bumping my running up as well, and naturally you're going to get better at something if you keep training it.
100%.
But being an asthmatic as well.
I didn't know you were asthmatic.
So I had asthma quite bad as a kid, and I started growing out of it. There's still some triggers like cold weather and dust and things like that will trigger it. But being asthmatic, I relate altitude training similar to like that of swimming. Swimming's always been recommended for asthmatics because you're holding your breath, you're stroking, you're putting those lungs under duress without oxygen, you come back up, you take a breath, okay, and you're constantly doing that repetitively. Similar to in here, you've got lack of oxygen, it's low, you're finding it hard. So when you go out there, my breathing really improved. So my running, my breathing was fantastic. And then naturally, I felt like I was getting stronger and stronger with my running. So that's when I started going into more, because I never considered myself as a long distance runner by any means. I hated it. If there wasn't a footy in front of me, forget it. So the last couple of years has been, really this time last year I did my first True Grit event and then started running.
That spins me out that was your first event.
Yeah, so, and then it just sort of grew and fell in love with that, and because I'd always put off those events from getting injured and doing something stupid, because
of footy.
And doing something silly in a True Grit event or something that I'm probably inclined.
And you're guaranteed to bleed.
Guaranteed to bleed.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done an obstacle course race where I haven't cut myself open somewhere.
You haven't done it right.
Yeah, that's right.
So
even after the first one, it was a 7K race. It was real impromptu. Whilst we were doing some filming in Bright, and I jumped in, never done it, and I remember getting to the end, I'm like, man, I haven't been this cut up since I was a kid, but there was something about it where you felt like alive, and like being out and like doing this cool stuff, and the combination of obstacles and running, and it was like, man, that was a wicked experience.
It's great. The highs that you get after that race is so good, and the community as well. It's great. It's awesome.
So tell us about your footy. I knew you were a footy boy, but what level were you at? So you were playing, like, do you still play now?
So we've wrapped up this season, but currently up in the air whether I'm going to go again next year. But I've been playing country footy for the last few years. But used to play at East Fremantle in the WAFL. So I played there for many years. Grew up in East Freo boy, and went through the system there in Colts and Resis and played quite a few league games down there. Loved my time at East Fremantle. Had a brief stint at East Perth as well, and then ran into a little bit of lower back injury and things like that. And then went back to a few years into the amateurs system, just up in Metro with North Fremantle. And then, I was sort of up in the air whether I continued with footy or not. And I thought, I might go and do run some marathons or do some triathlons. That lasted like 3 weeks, and I missed the boys too much, and the training and the team environment. And went back, and someone said, I think it was my brother. He said, you can't retire from footy until you try country footy. So I went and tried country footy and never looked back. I just fell in love with it.
How long have you been doing that for?
4 years.
Yeah.
So
where do we stay? Where's Tamika from? Bridgetown. Yeah. So it was because our friends live out in the country, and we went and stayed with them, and they were telling me it gets so passionate down there. Like when it comes to country, like football, country sports, it's crazy. It
is. You can imagine all the cars around the oval, all the horns beeping. But for these guys in the community, they're mainly all farmers. Where I play in Mount Barker, so we're 4.5 hours. I'm in the Albany League. We play the Albany teams, Denmark, Mount Barker. It's not a huge town. Drive through, blink and you'll miss it. So they're all farmers, and the weekend sport, footy, and I think they play hockey down at the clubs down there as well. That's their weekend. They all get together, they all come out. That's a great weekend where they all see each other. And then for us travelling down, there's about 7 Perth boys that would travel down on a little Mount Barker 13-seater bus. Pretty close group. We've known each other for a long time, so it was a really good group. And, they appreciate how far we come to play down there. And they treat us like absolute royalty. We have dinner down there. We stay back for the presentations. We don't go in. We don't leave straight away. But, yeah, footy's been awesome down there. Country footy's totally different to up here. It really is, and have loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So from a professional point of view, with training, because you're a trainer at altitude, so that's what you do. But when did you get into PT from an industry side? When did you get into the fitness industry side of stuff?
Yeah, started probably about seven or 8 years ago, probably a little bit more now. And I was just, I had a full-time job as well, and I was doing PT as a bit of part-time work. And then once I started doing it, I was like, this is so for me. Just building that rapport with clients, seeing the changes that you could actually make and the impact you could have. Not both just obviously physically on people, but mentally as well.
Massive.
And just getting that, everyone has bad weeks, bad days, and that's a lot of their output is to go to a gym and get, have a lot of fun and leave and just go, that's their break for the day. And I loved being a part of that. And at the same time, I was getting up earlier. I reckon you can relate to that if you set your alarm for 5 a.m. to go for a run, it's so easy to go, absolutely not, I'm sleeping in. Next thing you know, it's 8 o'clock and you've woken up, you're like, crap, I've missed my run.
So can I tell you a little bit of a secret about me?
Please.
I don't set an alarm. I haven't for, I don't know how many years. So probably about 11 years or so. I've got this weird body clock. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m.
Every time.
Just like every time, without fail. It's a bizarre thing, but I understand the...
Yeah, if you set...
I day sleep though.
Yeah. So I've got a similar body clock as well, but because I've got a client, I just have to.
You have to.
I just have to. But yeah, you might get that one every so often where I sleep. I hear it go off, but generally I'll wake up at, say if my alarm's at 5, I'll wake up at 4:44 and I'm like, turn my alarm off and get up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because you always... generally I do. I'll always put my client in front of me, so I'm never going to miss that session. I'm always going to be up early. I'm going to be here. But if it was my alarm for me to go for a run, I'll be like, I'll just go later. Do you know what I mean? So, it was in that regard, it was good having that routine and getting up. So then, if you've got 2 or 3 clients and then you've got a gap, well, you're not going to sit around and do nothing. You're going to train. Yeah. So it was better for me as well, was because I was becoming more active and more disciplined in that I would want to train more, because as a PT, when you come to the gym and you train clients, you're just getting itchy because you want to train as well. Yeah. Sometimes I'll ask them to join you, but you can't wait for your break as well. And like, right, I'm going to smash that program that I just took them through, and I'm going to feel that pain that I just made them go through as well. Because otherwise, you're not practicing what you preach, are you? So,
whereabouts were you training out of?
I started down at Fitness Results, down at Alfred Cove, just a independent gym.
Yes.
So I played footy with Brenton down there and a good mate of mine, Ryan Cook, a couple of the boys. So footy boys, they've been there for a long time. Did a lot of work with them. Great little gym down there as well. Started there and then had a break from PTing. I just had a break and then took some time off and then came here as a client to start with, because I sort of love that sort of professional concept and way we do it here. So there's gyms that are really social about things and go in and do a workout, be happy, have a sweat. We do that as well, but we've also got that professionalism side as well to, if you haven't seen those changes, come here and you will see the changes, because this is why and this is what we've got you on and here's why we're doing it.
I think also coming from that high performance athlete background, it would have been really attractive for you to be able to train under like a high performance sort of environment as well.
Awesome. Yeah,
and like having the technology here, like the watt bikes that I'm looking at. There's really cool stuff.
Yeah, this place is decked out with serious equipment, and it's all top notch stuff. And I think people that know, have been in that sort of environment, they walk in and go, they haven't, they've gone all out with this sort of stuff.
Yep.
You have a look at this room and the system and the work that's gone into putting this place together is, it's phenomenal.
Going back to footy, just out of curiosity and a completely random one, do you know Brent Hall?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
sweet. I was going to say, you have to, because he's a Freo boy that was a footy boy.
So Brent, where I played footy, Brent started his CrossFit back in the day on that oval in the little gym there.
That's why I asked, because I thought that's where he started it, and I thought there must be a connection there.
And then I made the silly mistake of going over to Brent on a off training night and say, mate, I want to work on some extra stuff to get fitter. Next thing you know, I'm doing 1,000 deadlifts in 10 minutes, sledding a sled across the oval to the river, and what Brent's like. He's he doesn't hold back. So that's when I had my brief stint of CrossFit, which I enjoyed, but couldn't do it in football. It was just an absolute nightmare. Couldn't sustain doing CrossFit while playing footy.
Yeah,
no go.
So with your training now, this is one thing I wanted to know for me, because you're doing a lot of obstacle course racing now, and from what I can see, that's kind of your jam. That's what that's what you like. So how do you train for that? Do you lift a lot of weights? Because I know that we've shared some content, and you've seen some of my workouts where they tend to be more CrossFit, a bit heavier.
Yep.
But what do you do? Like, what's a training week like for you?
Yeah. So I think for me, when we mention obstacle course racing, I always wanted to find something to go into after footy. And footy's either at the end or very close. I haven't figured that out for next year yet. And I wasn't just going to be a runner, like a road runner. To me, I needed more than that. Obstacle racing was the perfect fit. It was a little bit of strength, cardio, endurance, speed, agility. It had a little bit of everything, which was like, this is me. When I did it last year, I was like, I found what I need to do.
You get the bug, hey?
Oh, big time. Yeah. Big time. So my typical week has changed a lot in the last 12 months, but I probably have more of a focus now in running. Because I've never been a natural good long-distance runner, I've been more the anaerobic, short, sharp, quick, and sprinting and repeat efforts and football-based style. So my typical week now is covering a lot of Ks.
Yep.
I've done a lot of strength work in the past, so if I can maintain my strength work, that's fine, but I'm certainly gave up the dream of being nice, big, and strong a long time ago, because when you're naturally born like a twig, it's not going to happen. So I'm sort of finding that I'm going back to my natural body weight now, which is a lot slimmer and still being strong, but focusing on getting my running up, because obstacle course races and true grit and these sorts of races, you've got to run between every obstacle.
It's a running game.
It is a running game, and you look at especially the WA courses, they're runners' courses. Yep. Lots of hills, lots of running, lots of ground to cover. So for me, it's about building up my running as best as possible. But the training I do for weights, I'll have 2 strength days a week, and then I'll have some other days where I'll just throw in a heap of body weight stuff and some grip training.
Yep.
Within my running, I'm now doing a lot of stair running and hills.
Okay.
So at least once a week, I have to be doing hills and stairs, and I've found huge improvements with my running.
That's the thing. You have to, because when you're doing the obstacle, even the trail runs. Yep. Have you've done Perth Trail Series?
Yep.
So even when you're doing that, that's the difference. Is it's not flat, or it's not just rocky. You're literally going up and down. Yeah. Running downhill is a skill, which I'm really not good at.
Yeah.
But running uphill is a skill as well.
Yeah.
And if your body's not used to having that lactate threshold of going up a hill, then from a racing point of view, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, I think I made the mistake at one of my first Perth Trail Series races, the Swiss Murdy, which is very, very hilly. I think it's 14 Ks, and it's just up and down.
Where was that?
Les Murdy.
Is that where we went? No. We went to Bells Rapids.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this one was, I think, late last year, and I did the typical, I'll go there and just enjoy a nice run. I think I say that before every single run I do. And then
it sounds like the Brendo method.
Don't do that at all. Yeah, so went in there and I just started attacking these hills. I find it hard to try and run slow up a hill. I just kind of want to get it done and get it over with.
Yep.
So anyway, I was, doing really well in the run, and I was going past these people up the hill, and I was like, a bit of a smirk on my face, like,
suckers.
have got them. Next thing you know, I'm like a quarter of the way up the hill, and I'm gone. Gas. And then next thing you know, they're like power walking up, and I was like, you can't walk in a running race.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, that's a lot of the technique, is you walk, jog.
Yep.
It's where you gain that time back is when you sprint down the hills. But
Yep.
by the time I got to the top, I'd put so much effort in, I was gassed.
Yes.
So I learnt a lot from that. It's slow grind up, fast down.
Oh,
So,
massively. It's such. But when you go in and you want to compete,
Yeah, it's hard not to go.
The first time I did an obstacle course race, I was like, same reaction. I was like, why are people walking up a hill, you pussies?
Yeah.
And then I realised, I kind of was like, okay, just copy what they do because they've got all the gear and it looks like they've done this before.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I get it. You don't want to blow out and then be ruined for the rest of the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we move on from training, with your weights training days, what sort of rep ranges do you do?
Yeah, so it does alter. If I don't have an event for a while, I'll start to. I might do a period block where I'm doing strength endurance. So I might, go up 15 to 20 reps and do some lighter weights and really put that strength endurance in my legs.
Yep.
Now that I have up the running, I probably won't do as much as that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll probably try and stick to. If I am running a lot, I'll probably try and keep the reps quite low and try and go a little bit heavier, because if you are doing more reps, you're going to probably pull up sorer.
You're going to have DOMs for sure.
Yeah. So I'll probably keep the rep range to probably 6 to 8s.
Okay.
And work on some decent sort of weight. But
Yep.
I probably, and like footy season, I really back off a lot of the leg weights during footy season, because you're doing enough running, you're doing enough physical work on the legs that if I'm trying to throw in back squats and deadlifts and stuff, probably just going to be playing catch up with my soreness.
Yes.
But now I can start to do that without footy, because footy just takes so much of a toll, especially sitting on a bus for 9 hours in one day.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Hey?
Yeah. Plus a game. So
yeah, just mentally as well, going backwards and forwards. Can I sell you on the Brendo method? Just max out every single session.
Just max out. I have watched a lot of these sessions. Yeah, it's sort of walk in and like you're in two minds. Next clip, you're just like busting in those sexy shorts of yours.
Oh, I love it. It's like, don't do it. Don't do it. One thing I did find though, like prepping up for the powerlifting comp, going from like us doing enduro to then prepping up to a powerlifting comp and then trying to run. Yeah, you do notice it.
Oh, big time. Big time. You just don't feel that nice flow and technique at all.
You feel like an elephant.
Yeah, you feel like your whole torso is just turning with your arm strides. Like, it's very different.
Yeah, it's not ideal. So now it's time to ease back into running and get ready for True Grit, which I think it's like 3 weeks away.
It's not far, yeah. And the difference that I found, like because I absolutely love doing weights, and especially when you start to build up the upper body, the difference for me and in 1 or 1.5, 2 kilos in some muscle to my running is everything. So I've dropped it back down again now and done a lot more running, and I'm just running so much more freely.
Yep.
And obviously I'm not going to hit those top numbers with my strength, but as long as I can maintain some good strength, then it's fine.
It's not the end goal.
No, that's right. The obstacles are very achievable.
Yes.
The obstacles aren't what people should really... they shouldn't be training just for those obstacles. You need a little bit of technique training to get over certain things.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the running in between and the intensity that you're going to feel after you stop, go over a ladder, and then run again. Repeat effort stuff. So
100%. So I know you've been to Ninja Academy.
Yep.
So I know quite a few of the ninjas, and I know that a few of them are looking to do True Grit. One of them is a good runner, which is going to be great. But yeah, I like how to explain. You're going to be good at the obstacles. That's not a problem. But an obstacle can be less than a second.
Yeah.
And that's counted as one obstacle. That's not going to make a difference.
No.
Unless, like, literally you cannot do a rope climb or you cannot get up a 9-foot wall or something.
Yeah, correct.
In Spartan, they obviously have the spear throw, which is a skill. It's a little bit different.
Yep.
But in True Grit, you don't have that. So the obstacles are such a short component of it. Now, going to Enduro.
Yep.
Let's share the stories, because we only met then. I'd seen you online, but we only just met then.
Yep.
So what made you do it? And for people that didn't catch on, Enduro is the 24-hour race where you basically AMRAP for 24 hours and, hope for the best. So what made you do it? Because you only just did True Grit.
That's right. So last year, True Grit first event was October.
Yep.
And I remember Shannon Daly came into the gym as part of an ambassador, came and dropped some stuff in. And I'd already looked ahead. I hadn't even done True Grit first in WA, and I'd already looked ahead and heard about this 24-hour race. And I just looked at it and was like, oh, wow, that looks insane. And I was like, I want it. I want to do it. And I was like, right, 2-year plan. Let's be honest. 2-year plan. Figure out what I'm doing with footy, but I'll start to train. And as I said, I hadn't done any long-distance running at all. Shannon's like, nah. Just do it. You can do it. You're very capable. You know what he's like. Just get it done. I was like...
Yeah, he said the same to me.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm in. So I did True Grit, and I think a day or two after True Grit, I ran like a 15K run. I was like, right, I'm hooked. I'm getting ready for True Grit Enduro. So the 2-year plan went right out the window, and set myself for June Enduro and just trained for it and couldn't wait to do it.
So the reason, because I did Enduro, and the reason why I did it was I had done a few obstacle course races, and same thing, like we've said it a few times already, but I did it and I was hooked.
Yep.
And it was like, it was the mix of competition that you get from CrossFit, but it was the running and the being out in nature, and there was just something like primal about it, and I went, that's epic.
Yeah.
So my birthday was on the 9th of June.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and so we did the race from the 8th to the 9th, and I thought, man, what a way to spend your birthday going through this 24-hour race.
Yeah.
So I was sold, and I'm like, I got to go over there, and I wanted to do something extreme. But I didn't train... you guys trained intensely for it, whereas I did my Brendo method, YOLO thing, where I thought, okay, I'm going to have a base with CrossFit. I know a lot of it's going to be mental as I get through, and I probably only ran about 1.5 times a week for an hour, and I think I did 2 20K runs. That's definitely not, like my powerlifting prep, that's definitely not the ideal way of doing it. I banked off some of my, CrossFit ability, I guess. But you guys trained like vigorously for the event leading in. So what did you do? Because you guys spent a lot of time out in the hills.
Yeah, we did. For me, it was good training because I needed to build that base for a running. I felt like I was fairly fit, but I needed to build that endurance running, which I had never done. As I said, I don't think I'd run other than True Grit, which was only 10K. Probably the furthest I'd ever run in one sitting was 15Ks, because footy's all just repeat effort. It's all 1K, it's all 400s. It's all just, short, sharp. So we, sort of started putting a bit of plan together, and then Shannon and I started teaming up with a lot of running. But I think we were sort of averaging about 60, 70Ks a week for a few months there, from sort of March through to, March, April, May, I reckon.
Yeah.
And then we tapered off. But yeah, it was a lot of running. But yeah, we spent a lot of time in the hills. Any PERTH Trail Series race we could do, I jumped on, because that's when I'd done my first ones of those as well. So the Bloated Goat, which was like 33K, 30K or 33K, jumped into that. And that was a real good tester for where I was at. But yeah, for me, it was, why, you talk about why we would do it. I've watched so many of my mates and helped out with so many mates do like a Roto swim or do like a triathlon or whatever, and done all this. I just hadn't found what I wanted to do yet. And then when Enduro came up and I did True Grit, I was like, that's my one. The 24-hour, that's my test. So yeah, it was a lot of running. Kept strength work up, and then coming down here in the altitude room was cool as well, because we'd set up, if it was Sunday afternoon when the gym was closed, I'd come in and we'd just set up like, right, 3 hours, we're just going to train in the altitude room. It's going to be lower intensity, and we're just going to grind. We're just going to grind away with rowers and bikes and cycling and strength aspects into it as well. Little CrossFit workouts as well, and just absolutely dripping with sweat, just changing it up, changing all my training up. Anything I could get my hands on with my training, I was just doing it, because I was like, let's just train for it. We did a cool Anzac Day overnight walk. I don't know if I told you about that one.
No, I don't think so.
So a friend of mine, Adam, down at Boom Fitness in East Fremantle.
Adam Parker.
Adam Parker, mate of mine, Marty, obviously
Marty the tattooist.
Marty the tattooist, and Adam's mate, Keegs. We got together and we formed an idea of doing the Anzac Day river walk.
Okay.
So we started down at Boom Fitness. We got a whole heap of our mates and people together. Just a free walk to overnight, which was 25Ks.
Yep.
Chuck on a weight vest, chuck on anything you want, and we'll walk all the way to Kings Park from East Freo, around the river, through sand and water and stuff, and then be there for the sunrise and stuff. And it was such a cool event.
That's cool.
But I used that day as well as a training day. So woke up, 6 o'clock in the morning. I think I did a small run.
Yep.
Midday I did a swim.
Yep.
Afternoon I did something, and then by night time I was sitting on the bed, and I was sitting on the couch, and it was like you're waiting for midnight because that's when you start the walk.
Yep.
And it's all mental, so you're sitting there watching TV and you sat on the couch. I started getting really tired, like this is almost bedtime, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was like, right, get up, go to the gym. Let's go. I'm going to go do a workout. So it was like my third workout for the day or something. Come down here, did a weight session with Marty.
Yep.
And then went straight to East Freo, and then we started our walk. So anywhere that I could sort of try and replicate, I mean, how do you replicate a 24-hour event, right? It's kind of hard without like the whole atmosphere and buzz around it.
Yep.
So I used that as a 24-hour event. So we did the walk, took all night, day, beautiful ceremony. It was a really cool feeling.
Yep.
I think we had about 60 people join us for it.
Do the walk?
Do the walk, yeah.
That's it. I can't believe I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, mate, next year you got to come
That's
along.
insane.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
And we didn't really promote it overly hard. It was just word of mouth, a little Facebook event.
Yep.
And it was. I've got some cool footage of it, but so treated that as a training run, you know.
Yeah.
And then by when we got back to the gym and had something to eat, it was 9, 10 a.m. and I was just smashed.
Just dead.
That was it. So
can you please remind me to get footage of that? Yeah, I want to. I want to share that. That's wicked. Hey.
Yeah, and it was obviously it was really cool to do that, and we talked about the Anzacs, and we came together, and it was really cool.
Now, also speaking about cool causes, you raised over $16,000.
Yeah, raised a heap of money for Autism Awareness Australia.
Yep.
So just within the training for True Grit, I think I was a couple of months in. I bought my ticket, and I was like, it's very real now.
Yeah.
And I think I had 5 months or 6, maybe 5 or 6 months. I thought, for a couple of reasons, I might do something really cool. A friend of mine had recently done a fundraiser, and I thought, what a great idea. I hadn't really done a big giving back sort of thing in my career of sort of being a PT and stuff. So
yeah,
I was like, right, let's do that. Let's turn that off. And I picked Autism Awareness Australia because my son has autism, and he's a high functioning on the spectrum, which means he's really good at what he puts his mind to, and he's got a great attention to detail, but he has some sensory things that he struggles with noise and different things, and I suppose the attention throughout the day and
when
concentration.
you say like sensory,
yep.
What do you mean by sensory?
So some kids that struggle with sensory could be really loud noises. It could be if I took him to a footy game, I'd probably take some earmuffs.
Okay.
Because the sheer noise can really throw them off.
And that upsets them?
Heightens because they've got heightened senses sometimes. It upsets them. They feel really uncomfortable and pretty much go into a shell, and you need to really comfort them. That's why, there's many different not ways, but there's very different, spectrums and where they're on. But shopping centres is a big trigger for some as well, like going through the lights and the noise and the speakers and things like that. So, there's some really interesting. They do it on the internet. There's some really things that you can actually see through the eyes of an autistic child.
Okay.
When you're actually going into a shopping centre, and you look at it, it's hard to watch.
Okay.
Because it's all fuzzy and there's things happening everywhere. So, so there's things that he does struggle with, but there's things that he excels at as well. Being autistic is phenomenal. The way his brain works, but his brain is always active. It's always on. So getting to sleep takes a long time, and because his brain's just working overtime. So to put myself in an uncomfortable situation was to do a 24-hour race. It's like, right, just do something that you haven't done before. Get out of my comfort zone. He has to be out of his comfort zone with lots of things. School for him and changes in his classroom can be uncomfortable. Little tiny things that we just walk through in everyday life are really hard for him.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put myself in a situation where I wanted to be tested in something that I know I'm going to be uncomfortable with. You tell everyone that you did a 24-hour race, they'd just be like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and that's what I wanted. We and the other side of it was to be accountable. Yep. So the fundraising was, you can't back out. You can't pull out of it. You can't not train because now people are watching. So I started fundraising, and all my mates were so incredible. They just jumped on straight away and just were like, bang, $300, $200, $250. And they set the scene early for donations. And there were no donations like under $50. It was amazing. That's awesome. Like it just kept going and going and going. I'd do a workout and post something, and then the next thing after would be someone's donation. I'd just give them a shout out and tag them in it. And then it just started growing and growing, and it just got bigger and bigger. So my original target was, my son was 6, so I was like, $6,000 would be great. Next thing you know, we hit $6,000 in a couple of months. And I was like, oh, we'll go to 8. Next thing, it just kept going and going and going. And then the training and the running and all my stuff I was doing that I was just putting on social media, it just kept growing, and I kept tagging it and stuff. It just flowed. It just worked really cool.
Yeah.
And then, we had a bit of fun with it, towards...
You did.
towards the end of it, I think Shan and I had come up with the idea. Actually, Shan mentioned, he goes, what are you up to? And I think my target then was like, oh, I'd love to hit $12,000. I was sitting at $11,000 the week before flying out.
Yep.
He goes, let's do something stupid like if we raise $1,000, we'll do lap 2 in Lululemon women's size 6 shorts.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, sweet. I'm keen. I'm always keen for a stupid idea.
Yep.
We raised $1,000 in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, that became very real. So I went and saw my lovely team down at Lululemon Applecross, and they decked us out with Lululemon shorts.
And it was beautiful. And actually, I just realised, because I have a lot of footage of the day, and I got videos of you boys in your Lulu.
Yep.
So I know what the promo for the clip is going to be.
Bang.
This
there
is
you
wicked.
Go. It's all shaping up nicely. So, it was pretty cold over there, as you know. Lap 2, let's just get in, women's booty shorts. And
it's cold.
You know what? It turned all the heads, but it was all for all the right reasons. We chucked on the autism awareness on the black texter. Marty decked us out with the graffiti on the backs, and it was great. Actually, that lap, I actually met 3 people. I don't know if I've told you this. I met 3 people on that particular lap who sort of stopped me, and I didn't care about the time and the race and stuff. I was happy to chat with them. They're like, "How much have you raised?" And I said it. "Oh, my sister's son has autism. Thank you so much."
That's cool.
And another person was like, "My brother has autism. Blah blah blah. Thanks so much. How much have you raised?" And they were staggered. And I was like, you know what? That's all I needed. And that was so cool. And then on the flip side, there was all these serious racers and guys that were running around giving me the double look, like, what the hell is this guy doing? Literally the booty shorts and like the belt with my water and stuff, and just nothing else. And I remember a couple of comments, like the cameraman must have seen Shan because he was in the first wave go past, and they're like, "Oh my God, here comes another one!" Like with the underwear on. So it was very funny. But a couple of other little things with the handlebar mustache and the autism tattoo that I ended up getting as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Autism awareness tattoo
that's cool.
I fulfilled. I promised them.
That was like an additional.
Yeah, so that was like another thing. I was like, oh, let's just see how far we can go with this. Like, I'll do all these things, and on the day there was another anonymous donation of like $500, and just kept going and going, and I was seriously blown away. So I went through with everything I said I would, and it was something like 15-16 grand raised, and the Autism Awareness Australia were great and good support. And it felt great to be able to do something like that.
It's an awesome way of like utilizing your platform or something that you're doing to be able to generate so much. So I thought it was really cool, and I got to see it all in action as well.
Yeah, the foundation thought I was bluffing when I said I was going to get an autism awareness tattoo, and I sent them photos of me and Marty and getting it done.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, we've never seen that before. That's definitely a first." I was like, "Well, if that's a first, I'm happy." So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought it was wicked. Now, coming to the end of Enduro, and putting yourself in that in the 24 hours and everything that it takes to get there, what did you find out about yourself, or what did you come away from? Yeah,
it was really fulfilling. I kind of got what I wanted from it. I was definitely tested in more ways than one. I think I was absolutely cruising through the first 4 laps, and in fact I probably went too fast, and it was like that race mentality like we talk about with PERTH Trail Series. Once I got going, I think my first break was like 2 minutes after my first lap. I literally sculled something, ate something, and I felt like and I just had to tell myself after lap 2, I was like, slow down.
Yeah.
You've got 24 hours of this. You're not here to, go as fast as you can. It's, it's a duration to get through. So, I think as that period you talk about between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. and that hard slog, my knee had blown up, my feet were killing me. I made the silly mistake of buying a new pair of trail shoes because I panicked and I wasn't happy with a couple of the other shoes, and I bought a new pair of shoes that I'd only ever done 10Ks run in, and I think that came back to bite me. My feet were absolutely killing me. I changed for a couple of different laps and just couldn't find a good fit, so I put them back on. But got to, I think that last lap when the sun was coming up was at its coldest. It was absolutely freezing out there.
There was mist everywhere. It was icicles.
It was so cold, and then you go through obviously the P Dam and neck deep and just frozen. I didn't take enough probably warmth out with me on that one, and I was really struggling. I'd met up with some other guy who was just walking, and by that stage I was walking as well because my knees were shot, everything was shot, and I really questioned if I could get through that lap. I think it was lap 9. Would you do 10 laps?
No, I did 9. That was 104.
So it was my
that would have been your 8th.
It was my 8th lap. And I was shaking uncontrollably, and I couldn't run on my knee to save myself, but I had to because I was too cold.
Yeah.
So every fire pit at every obstacle, I was just thinking, get to the next one because I had to warm up.
Yep.
The guy next to me said, mate, it's not worth it. Like, if he could see how bad I was shaking, and I thought about quitting that whole lap. I wanted to quit that whole lap. And I thought, but if I quit, I'm going to get a DNF. I'm going to get a do not finish. And I was like, I cannot do that. I said, I've got too many people that are watching me, too many people that have donated. I refuse to quit. I will get through this. And stage by stage, hour by hour, that last lap took me like friggin' 3 or 4 hours. I can't remember. It was a long lap. I've never been, I reckon that's the closest I've been to being like hypothermic. Like I was frozen. Another guy had bailed out before me and there was a truck there to take him back. And I looked at it and I was like, I could get on. But I dug deep and I found out a lot about myself and pushed through. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought of. Like when I wanted to quit, I was like, this is what I'm here for. This is exactly what I'm here for because this is the pain I have never experienced. And, I got through that lap, and that's other than the start line, that's the first time we saw each other for the whole
24
race.
hours, yeah. And we started at the same time.
Yeah, and I think I think there was a few hours left to go, and you said, let's do one more lap. And in my head, and this is what pleased me, in my head I was like, I want to so bad, but trying to get over that wall and that pain I was in, I remember sitting down and going, I want to do one more lap. And I think we had time to walk it pretty slowly and take our time.
I walked it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think I sat down and went to get up and my knee was gone and everything was gone and I just physically couldn't. And I know we spoke about this as well, that you look back and go, could I have done one more? And I know I couldn't have. And I know I look back and I'm happy the fact that I couldn't have. My mind was there and I'd been tested and I wanted to, but I just couldn't have. Like my body was just gone.
It's so true. Like even because I did that extra lap, I walked it. I treated that like my victory lap because I knew I had hit my goal. My goal was 100 Ks. Yep. I was going to make 104. There was plenty of time. Same as you, both knees were shot. I couldn't run anymore. No. Even coming on and off the obstacles, both knees were shot. I could tell my feet were bleeding, but I just refused to look. Talking about like going through P Dam was like chafed. Yeah. And it feels like you got a knife going into like your crotch.
Yep.
And I was lucky that I think Shannon had pulled out, so I was able to get an extra coat, an extra layer from him up top. I already had gloves, so that was okay, but I had support from the team that were there, and that's what helped me get through.
Yep.
But same as you, I got to the end of the 9th, and there was actually still, because we were 12:30 finishing, so I still had 2.5 hours by the time I had done. And they said, do you want to go again? And I'd already decided, no, this was it. I've hit my goal, I'm done. And then when I got home, I was like, I wonder if you, could you have gone again? But I was the same. I was just like, that was it. I was physically done.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn so much about yourself. And it's that personal sense of achievement that you're like, I know that not many people can do this, and having the mental capacity more so even than the physical capacity to do it. I think the confidence that I walked away with in yourself, it was it's really something special.
It is, yeah. It's a special event.
So moving forward, so you got a bit going on. You're focusing on OCR. So what's happening for the rest of the year? What are you? So you're going to do True Grit.
True
Grit.
Grit.
Your next thing.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What do you want to do?
Look, the goal. Well, last time I did True Grit, I just went in any wave, and we did it as a gym. We went down, we had a great day, and that was exactly what we wanted to do. This year, going elite, So, yeah, I'm going to have a crack. I'm going to see what I can do, see what I'm capable of. So, training pretty hard for that. I suppose the goal deep down would be to try and, get up there and place in it, and be top 3 in the elite. That would be a great goal for me to achieve. But at the end of the day, just go out and do as best I can do and have a real dip at it, and then spend the day there and enjoy myself and do a few more laps and join in. I think got some friends and family that are doing it, jump in with them, do a couple more laps and tick over a heap of Ks. And then after that, really is just building up my running still. I've got probably jump into some more Perth Trail Series events.
Yeah, but they're fun, hey?
They are fun, and that's my favourite style of running, because you go out on a road run, and I'm not sure about you, but like you're sort of looking at your watch, like, okay, the Ks are ticking over, get to the 10K mark, 11K mark. Out in the nature in the bush, in the national parks, I don't even look at my watch because it's just too nice out there. And next thing you know, you've just clocked off 15K. Like, where did that go? This has been so enjoyable out there.
I think especially the environments we live in, and for someone like me that's on media all the time, just your chance to disconnect and go out into the trails, the bush. I agree, and I enjoy them all. Plus, you're going through rocks, you're going through rivers. There's just cool stuff that you're doing. Yeah,
it's so good. So, look, after True Grit, don't have any major plans at this stage of events, but I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for some more obstacle course races and see how True Grit goes, and probably look to do the Enduro again next year, I think.
You're going to?
Yeah, I think so. I think now that I've built that base, and I've built that endurance style to it, I think while I can and while I'm still in that zone, I think I'd like to do it again. I'm going to change up a bit of my training this time and alter it a little bit. I'm not going to go for as many runs, but I'm going to go for longer runs and be more time on feet.
And then try and recover a little bit better from those runs.
Yeah, look, and that's easy to say, and I know, I said that after the event, but it comes down to time as well. I mean, you can do those long time on feet runs on the weekends, but during the week it's very difficult to do that unless you're willing to get up at 3 a.m. and do it.
Yeah.
But so that'll be that. But yeah, nothing major, mate. Just get fitter, and yeah, I'm really enjoying this running at the moment. So
I love it, man. Like I said, when I met you there, I was just like, Monty's just such a cool guy, and I get to see you on socials much more. And I think that you're doing awesome stuff. You're doing some stuff with Ryan from Bodies by Ryan.
Yeah. Yep.
So except outside of coaching here, people can just touch base with you on Instagram. Hey, that's
Absolutely.
The best place.
Yeah. So, look, I'm keen to chat with anyone or do a session with anyone. Like with me, I'm just a yes man. I'll just go for it. Just throw something at me and let's do it. I'll do stupid ideas. I'll do good ideas. Probably do bad ideas as well. But I'm keen to always do something if I hadn't been thrown the challenge of doing enduro, I'd probably just been doing the same thing. And now I just want the next thing. You do something like an enduro event, you're always now looking like that's not good enough. We want to do something bigger and better, or we want to go next thing.
Yeah, so my thing is, I think I shot your message about it because I was the same, and I went away and I was like, what do you do? I told the Rucci boys I'd do a powerlifting comp afterwards, so I did that, and again, got to the end of that, and I'm like, I loved that. Same gratification, very different. But what do I do? So I want to... There was one I sent to you. There was this crazy Red Bull race.
Yeah, yep.
I want to tee up a year that we do that in the next 12 to 24 months.
Super keen.
Where we actually go somewhere to do something epic.
Yeah. Super keen. That one... Looking at the footage, I know a couple of the guys from Lululemon who are ambassadors. They do a run club and stuff. They did it this year, and it looked really cool. That is absolute. And then I saw another friend of mine. He just went and did the support crew for the Eco Challenge. Have you seen that one? Which is Bear Grylls'.
No.
It's apparently it is the hardest race in the world. So they cover over 160 miles, and they running, abseiling, bike riding, mountain climbing, mountain biking, all throughout. It looks ridiculous. And you have to have a team of 4 with mixed gender as well. So there has to be either one male in there or one female in there. But you obviously have to have a fair resume to be able to do it as well, to get selected for it.
Yeah.
So, but he was just a support crew, and he was training just to be that. It was Yeah, I'll send you it. You'll get excited.
I'm getting a smirk, so I don't know if I'm going to have approval.
We'll do Red Bull first.
Red Bull.
Yeah.
But awesome, Monty. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for being
mate.
on, man.
No
we'll
worries.
put the links for your socials and everything in the show notes.
Sweet.
But check him out. He's doing awesome things, and you will see plenty more to come.